In a game like Apex, you've got a lot of different characters to choose from. I mean, you've got the pale, edgy cat girl, you've got the Among Us reference. Hell, you have not one but two fat fucks that are annoying as fuck to play against. Come on, Respawn. You give one a slowing down ability and the other a 50 damage bullet sponge on top of 10% damage resistance? What the fuck? Besides that, there's one character uniquely made to run fast, kill shit, and dip quick. That's right. Today we'll be talking about the drug-fueled, running, loving, living Mexican stereotype that is Octane. Octane is one of the simplest characters to play, which means, even more than usual, you're going to be relying heavily on your positioning, strafing, and gunplay. He's got three main abilities, like most characters: his passive, his stim, and his ultimate. His passive, named Swift Mend, is pretty straightforward. Don't take damage for a couple of seconds, and you'll heal at a rate of 1 HP per second. While this might not seem like a lot, first off, it's a passive. The fuck do you expect? In game, it translates to you will almost never need a medkit for basically the entire game. Okay, maybe it's not that far, but it is a pretty nice touch. The healing rate is so good that in almost all of your downtime, you're not really even going to need to focus on your health. And as long as you keep out the stims, your passive health regen will do the work for you. Now, don't get ahead of yourself. This doesn't mean to disregard the syringes and medkits altogether. In fights, especially against farting fat fucks, you're gonna need the medkits just to stay alive. In general, it's a good idea to have a well-balanced backpack so as to not be lacking in anything you need. Speaking of fights, that brings me to my next point. This green Shrek cum is the core of your toolkit, and it's one of the most effective too. When used, it increases your run speed by 30% for 6 seconds, with the trade-off being you take 10 damage. If there ever were a character with the crutch, this would definitely be one of them. Your stim has 3 uses, which I've affectionately called the 3 R's: repositioning, rushing, and retreating. Side note, there's also a fourth called rotation, which is just getting around the map, but it's so basic I'm just inserting it here. Starting with the first R, combat with Octane is fluid. You want to be constantly weaving in and out of cover in order to confuse and surprise the enemy. Octane can work on straight flat ground with minimal cover, but his sweet spot is in a mix of reachable vertical cover, horizontal pathways, and big vast open areas to fight in. The damage you take with the stim means you will almost always be at a disadvantage against an enemy, at least health wise, meaning you're going to need to capitalize on high ground and good old fashioned aim to compensate. Use map knowledge and general game sense in order to flank and surprise teams that would have otherwise had you pinned.
Engaging!
Remember when I mentioned surprise? If you're going undetected by your enemy and need to close the gap, Octane is the perfect choice. It's a big part of playing Octane. And this is where weapon choice is really important. Honestly, as far as weapons go, you've got to treat it like choosing a perfect companion. You could choose the sleek, sexy, tried and true AR and SMG combo. Or, if you're a bit more dangerous, the unhinged but stunningly attractive SMG and shotgun combo. But whatever you do, don't choose the boring, normal, snooze fest librarian that is the sniper and mid-range AR combo. Hold on, don't get me wrong. G7 and Wingman combo can work wonders on maps where Octane's weaknesses are kind of prevalent, like Olympus, but using a Sentinel and a 30-30 just isn't really how you're supposed to play Octane. I mean, his name is literally short for high octane gameplay. You want your opponent to be suffocating on the choke of your shotgun, not running to cover as you strafe to avoid a Kraber shot from across the map. You use your stim to close the distance, so sniping isn't really a viable choice. Finally, retreating. When bad goes from worse to worst, when all your teammates are down, when you're out of meds and shields, there's really nothing you can do except take a risk and run. That temp damage is really gonna hurt, especially at low health, but you're gonna need to use it to recuperate and maybe even grab some banners. Honestly, as you can probably tell from my gameplay and my commentary, I'm not really a big fan of this use, but it is still pretty effective, especially if you combine your map knowledge with your stim to run circles around your enemies. It's time to move towards a different, more team-based, I know, ability, his ultimate. Put simply, it's a jump pad. But its simplicity is deceiving. There's so much more to this jump pad than meets the eye. First off, let's talk about the new rework introduced in Season 8. With this, you can slide onto the pad and go further horizontally, or stand onto it and go further vertically. This gives him a lot more mobility, and his abilities are already the fastest in the game, with only a 60-second cooldown for his ult and a 2-second cooldown for his stim, giving him insane pressure and maneuverability. You can essentially use it like a Horizon tactical, with only a 40-second difference between the charge rate of the two. You can use it to help your team rush into a fight, furthering his surprise bitch playstyle, or to be kind of like an annoying pathfinder who never helps out his team. His mobility is even furthered with his double jump mechanic. You can use it to change momentum mid-flight, though this isn't really recommended as it's quite easy to trace and laser the pattern you'll be falling in. Combined with the rework, this allows for some insane new heights that not even Revenant can really reach, or Pathfinder for that matter. That's what makes Octane so fun to play, at least for me. You're not stuck playing him in one simple way. I joke about the mid-range Octane, but honestly, if you want to play a gross, festering, half-breed Octane, I see nothing wrong with that. Personally, I enjoy feeding my opponents R99 magazines and flatline Never mind. Honestly, I just appreciate Respawn's masterful design of him, and I hope after this video you do too. Thank you for watching, and hopefully, you'll stick around.
Me,